Yo, that doesn't. Um, Low key, I was too. I was out though. Um, okay, it's the
Yeah, I went
second
to
episode, the R&R podcast.
episode
Um,
two. Episode two.
I put I put 3 on the YouTube page because I was gonna use the old 2 videos, but I'm like, I don't have to make like I'm just indecisive, so I'm taking those don't count. The last week was the first episode. This is the second episode of the R&R
Yeah.
podcast. How's your week? How's your week, bro? Let me start there. What'd you do this week?
Uh, it was pretty good. I just had classes and stuff. I was booking a flight because I'm coming down to Florida in 2 weeks, and I just had to book the flight for that. I'm coming to see FAMU, and I gotta go see Florida International. So getting ready for that, and then meeting with my coach later in the week.
How did
Yeah, I
that
mean,
go?
really.
Actually, don't say. I was gonna say how did that go, but don't say how that went.
I mean, it was fine. It wasn't nothing, but like I can talk to you about that later. Yeah.
Yeah,
What about you? How
but
was
yeah,
your week?
bro. This it was actually not that bad, bro. They upped my pay at work, so a
Oh,
young
that's
nigga
good.
getting like
That's always good.
$150 more a week, right? And
Ooh.
then I got my apartment, like I said. I don't have to buy a bed. Shout out to Andre Hughes. If you know, you know.
He's giving you
Um,
the bed at the house.
yeah, he said I can get the mattress I'm on, and then I can take the bed frame. Bro, he weird. He was like, "Yo, you know the bed frame you have is a woman's bed frame." I'm like, "No, I don't
What's
know
the
that."
difference between a man's and a woman's bed frame? I've never heard that before
but
in my
when you
life.
look at
Like,
yeah, but when you look at the bed frame, there's like flowers and like I get it, but it's like, bro, nobody.
you
I was
could
like,
like
bro, I just
paint
been
over
asleep. What,
that.
what you
Like,
talking
there's
about?
so many things you could do with that.
I it didn't. I wouldn't have cared. Nobody would have ever said that to me. But like, yo, you know this is for a woman, right? Like only him. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing this week. Just getting the apartments and stuff. It was crazy because I was looking at a bunch of other apartments for weeks. I saw this one on Wednesday. I applied Wednesday night. I got approved yesterday, and then today I paid security deposit and they gave me my date. So it was 3 days it took me to get this apartment. So
Did you get it in a, like a good price range?
yeah, it was a lot of the other apartments at that size were like a couple $100s more. So
Mm,
I did. It was pretty cheap compared to Chicago. I'm basically paying what I paid for my studio, and I'm doubling the size, damn near.
mm, mm. Yeah, I know in the
So yeah,
South the housing is cheaper, even though everything's going up. But yeah, yeah.
yeah. But last night and this morning, I was listening to a lot of music drop, bro. And I'm gonna come
A
and
lot of
say,
new
bro,
music.
it's Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar's uncanceled. Daniel Caesar is
I,
if he was ever canceled, he's uncanceled.
no, when I was driving, listening to some of it this morning, I was like, I don't know how you could cancel a voice like this. Like, he sounded amazing on the album. Like, even from track two was the one that really stood out to me. Like at first, and I was sitting there, just kind of amazed in the gym listening to it.
It's a vibe, bro. That album is crazy, and it made me go back to his older stuff. And certain artists are able to make like time, like you can tell when something or somebody is timeless. It's a weird thing because it's like certain people, it's like the music comes, you listen to it, you're like this is cool, or you don't like it. But I feel like I don't know. I go back to his catalog a lot, and I'm like, bro, this could have been posted at any time, and this is just authentically Daniel Caesar. He produces a lot of music, and I guess his parents did music. I remember seeing in a Nardwuar interview something about his dad and like something in Jamaica or whatever. But his parents are. You can definitely tell he's been around music for a long time. He's still pretty young. I think he's like 27, and so for
Yeah,
this to be
nah,
his
he's
third
super
album and
young.
it's this crazy, yeah, I'm hyped, bro. I was listening to that. That was a good album. I'm definitely gonna keep listening to it. I've been listening to it all morning. But Planet Giza. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm gonna say Jizza. That shit is fucking bonkers.
Was it
That
an
shit is
album
fucking
or a
bonkers,
song?
bro.
I didn't hear.
It was a it was an album. So they dropped 12 songs. Sabo was on it. They had a song "What You Doing." Mick Jenkins was on it.
Mm.
Um, I think somebody named Femdot was on it. Koji Radical was on it.
Yeah,
V-
yeah. I
Veno
listened to Femme
Ven
Dot a little bit.
Venna. You might not know who Venna is, but he's like he co-produced a lot of Nux's album, and he had a couple songs. So like a lot of that album that came out last, he produced. I sent you a song earlier this morning. He produced on that with Koji Radical, and Koji Radical is from the UK, but that song's crazy too. That whole it's 12 songs, and K Tronada helped produce on that album. And one thing I like the direction that they're going in. We're gonna get into K Tronada in a second, but the the like the dance electric sounding music with the rapper on top of it is crazy. That like the K Tronada's last project with IDK, what was that called? That was
Simple.
what was it called? Simple. That type of vibe, yeah, that type of vibe with the rapper like getting in and out of pockets like that on a faster tempo. That's what they make. It's a group of 3 people, and they have one vocalist, and he sings and raps, and he's like, it's just crazy. The production on there is so nuts. Like, it's very spacey. I'm gonna keep listening to it, but that's mainly what I've had in rotation those last 12, 13, 18 hours like today.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do like that style though of like the rappers on dance beat. I think it's a good switch up from what you normally hear from rappers, and I really like K Tronada's style. Like I heard him. I think the first time I really liked him was from the song he did with Mick Jenkins. I really like Mick Jenkins a lot on one of K Tronada's earlier albums. I think that was 2019 or 2020, somewhere around there. And I really like that style. I think it's something that's gonna be like bigger in the next couple of years. I think a lot of people are biting that. Like even I heard the song with Amine too that came out with K Tronada and Pharrell. That was good too.
You you saw the that they're starting a group,
Who?
K Tronada and Amine. It's like
Not
they're doing it like they're doing it like Bruno Mars and who was that? Bruno Mars and
Anderson
Anderson
Paak.
Paak.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they're calling it K Tramine, and I don't know how I feel about this. I like Amine; he's cool. I don't know if I need more than like the album. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good, but I don't know if I need a group. I don't know if I need it. I don't know if I need it for real, for real. I'm gonna listen to the project, but it's like even the Silk Sonic thing. Like I don't know if I want to. Do you want another Silk Sonic album?
Not really, honestly. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it was kind of just a moment, and it was one of those things. Like it sounds good on paper, kind of like the like Kyrie and Luca right now. Like Kyrie and Luca sounds like they should be winning all of their games, almost every game, but it just doesn't work. And I think that's kind of what happened
Yeah,
with like Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars. Like they're two really big stars, and like the appeal of them together, it's like, oh, they're probably gonna make really good music. But I feel like it just wasn't like up to par with what we thought it was gonna be. I think we had a lot higher hopes for them just because of the quality of artists they are. But I think apart, I think they're better. I think they're way better apart.
it's hard to the group thing. I think groups and music is so interesting. Like even to go back to Planet Jizza, I think they work because they went into it like, okay, I don't know what each member does, but one's a vocalist. Let's say one plays instruments and one produces or whatever their part is, or they intermingle, but they all have primary roles in what they're doing, and so they know like working together, like the music's gonna make sense. But where it's like you get two artists like this, K Tronada, I feel like has a lot more wiggle room because he's not really a vocalist. He does some songs where he's on there, but a lot of times he's just doing the beats and the music. So like getting an artist and making Simple or making a K Tramine, whatever it is, you making that, it makes sense. But then you get like two artists, it's like how long can y'all be, how can you be you with him for an extended period of time? Like that's why groups break up. That's why Outkast broke up. It was just like, bro, we've been together for 16 years. I just want to go be me. Or a Big Boy want to go rap. And then Andre 3000 want to go play with the flute. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that in a group. You got
Walk
to
around
compromise and
Seattle.
stuff like that. Like literally, I want to run. That's one person, if I could run into them in public, I would want to run into is Andre 3000. I wouldn't even ask for a picture. I just asked him to play me a song.
No, yeah, I just want to hear him rap like the verse from Aquemini probably. I'd want him to do that top to bottom.
Do you think he'll ever perform again? There's some artists where I'm like, yo, I feel like he will. Frank Ocean is performing next week, so I'm like, there's hope for everybody.
I think what's funny is I actually saw a video about this the other day, and I think he's kind of off of music for some reason. Like I feel like he's kind of just shied away from rapping and shied away from really like making tracks. But he even said in an interview like he'll sit there and he'll dabble and he'll kind of mess around in the studio. Like you know how a couple of years ago he released that song that was it was like 20 minutes long, and it was just him like playing different instruments like just in the studio. Like I think he's more so doing that right now. I don't know how he is with the rapping at this moment, honestly. I feel like he's more so just like dabbling, but maybe he's kind of like Kendrick, where Kendrick was talking about he didn't have as much inspiration, like stuff like that. So maybe it's that.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about artists is like it's the consistent is trying like doing anything as an artist and trying to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like people a lot of times try and go off of just like want like desire or just inspiration at that point. And I've been a victim of that. I would say this for the last year or two, I have been a victim of that where it's like I feel inspired, I go make something, and then I don't feel inspired and I don't make something. And I think initially in the early phases, I don't think if you're trying to build something big, you don't have that option. If that's the goal, if it's the goal is to build something big, you can't just do it when you're inspired because nobody's inspired all the time. And I've sort of started coming to that realization and like just making sure like if I get down and I write half a page, I write 3 sentences for a day, I tried. You know what I'm saying? I did something. You know what I mean? And so like I yeah, literally. And I think my favorite artists or the best artists are all in somewhat the same capacity. I look at somebody like a Kendrick where it's like initially he's putting out a lot of music, he's putting out a lot of albums, he's putting out a lot of stuff just visible. He's reached the success and then he dip off and it's like, bro, I'm gonna go ride cars down the beach for 5 years. Like I'm out. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
you kind of have
It's
to
definitely dope.
establish yourself.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. But I mean, new music that came out. Uh,
I mean, we were talking about
Joe Boy
groups.
dropped.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, go ahead. You already going. Go ahead.
Well, we were
Groups.
talking about groups, and Ray Shremmer dropped an album. I wasn't expecting them to drop an album. I thought it was decent. There were some good tracks on there. I think they really shine on tracks with Zaytoven, and he had a couple that he produced on there. But one thing I didn't like, I feel like right now there's a real like everybody's really using samples and really throwing old songs in there and like remixing old songs into like new things, and I feel like they leaned way too much into that. Like there was a couple where I was just sitting there like I've heard this before but I've already heard it.
Yeah.
It was but good the first time, you didn't have to redo it. But yeah, yeah, I
I
was
think
messing with that album though.
you liked. How many songs was it long or no? I didn't
I
even go
want to
to
say
it.
it was 15 songs. It wasn't super long, but I feel like they also dropped at the right time because I feel like they're kind of like the summer vibe. They always keep like a summer hit. So yeah,
It's crazy because about a year ago, I went to go. Yeah, it was about a year ago, bro. I went to go see them at. Oh wait, no. When was that? Yard Fest was 2021. I remember I told you I saw him at Yard Fest, bro.
yeah,
That's
yeah. And they
nuts,
weren't even supposed to
bro.
be there.
Bro, nobody want. We left, bro. We left. We didn't stay for them. It was supposed to be Gucci Mane, the Migos, and the City Girls, and we got Ray Sherman. And we got Ray Sherman, bro. But I might check it out. Was there any features on there? Anything notable?
They,
Give me a song to check out.
let me. What was that? I was really messing with Torpedo was pretty good on there. YMCA was good on there, and Activate with Future was good on there. That was probably my favorite one. That Future verse was pretty good.
Artists gonna keep a future verse, bro. artist. I just seen a Joyner Lucas. I seen a Joyner Lucas Future song. And I'm like, bro, he has to be charging. He has to be charging out the ass for these features because there's no way. I don't understand. Everybody like, yo, because you're gonna listen to the song if Future's on it. You might not like it, but you're gonna at least give it a listen. I feel like.
I feel like him and like maybe like Blast, like you're just gonna see them on everybody's album. Like they're gonna be featured everywhere.
Yeah, Blast said that. I mean, he dropped that little 4-pack a little while ago.
Was
I forget
it
what
wasn't
it's
it
called, but he
just
just
for you too? Was it that?
yeah, for you too. Yeah, the one with he
Yeah.
had Passionate on there, and then Larry June
Yeah.
Collin was already out, and then
Yeah.
he had
I
the
love that
song with
song.
Mustard and Terrace Martin. Yo, Terrace Martin, he be cooking up, bro. He be cooking up. But
I was
yeah, I
messing
mean,
with
any
that.
other music you were listening to
Well,
outside of Ray Sherman?
last week we didn't really talk about Mike Towers. He dropped La Vida Es Una. I like that album too. There was a lot of good songs in there, a lot of good like beat switches. That's why I find no reggaeton that really keeps me there. Is those beat switches are always crazy. And I feel like he had a lot of Caribbean influence on the album. Like I heard a lot of like the Jamaican sounding beats and like the just different sounds in it. Really had like that Caribbean style to it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that like you said it, and I know what you meant, but it's like, and I found this of even talking to people from the Caribbean, like it's like Puerto Rico and Cuba, and then everything else, because Puerto Rico is the Caribbean, but we don't consider it the Caribbean. A lot of people don't call it that, but I think, yeah, I listening to the little EPs he dropped prior to that, and then the single that came off of that. I listened to that too. I've been meaning to get around to that project though because he does put out a lot of good music. I do notice like he puts out a lot of music and a lot of it is good. So I definitely need to get into that. Was that long too or no?
That was only actually this one was longer. It was 23 songs. I didn't even know it was 23.
Dang.
But I'd say check out the song with Ozuna was good. The song with Daddy Yankee was good. He had a song called Mas Ayi on there that I was really messing with. That was probably my favorite one off there. And then he had a song with J Balvin on here. I missed that one. I didn't even listen to that. I'm definitely gonna go check that out though.
Bet. Bet I'm gonna listen to it
Definitely
this
gotta check
weekend. I'm
that.
supposed to go out tonight, so I might check that
Maybe you'll
out.
hear that.
Maybe I don't know. And then who else? I mean, there's only 3 other songs I had on here. I had NBA YoungBoy with Nicki Minaj. I didn't listen to it. I ain't gonna lie. NBA
I didn't
YoungBoy
listen
and
to it either.
NBA YoungBoy can rap. You didn't listen to it?
No, he can rap. I just didn't. I didn't hear it. I didn't even know it dropped until you put it on the list. Honestly, I maybe I missed it when I was looking at
Yeah.
the albums. Did you see? Did you see that Drake dropped that song too?
Did you like it?
I thought it was good. Like I don't know. Drake always gets me with the flows, bro. Like the like the harmony of the like the I don't even know that I like that. I like the vibe of it,
Yeah.
but I feel like Kanye should hit back. Honestly, a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know if I'm gonna. It was decent. I don't know. I seen what he did there. Like the producer is Yeat's producer, so he's just like a chameleon, bro. He's gonna try everything. He's gonna be like, oh, that London flow, let me take that. Oh, that Yeat flow, that Yeat. Who's your producer? Okay, bet. Let's go. Kanye does. Like I don't know that.
I feel like he's
He's.
just
I wonder. I wonder how. Yeah, he is. He is. Do you think he's gonna stay active? Well, I mean, he has a tour. He has a tour about to start. He's probably not gonna keep dropping music. This is probably just a Lucy he was thinking about or something.
I feel like he might duck off for a little bit, work on an album because I don't feel. When's the last time he dropped like a real rap album? Wasn't it? Was there one after
Certified. Well, I
the
mean,
dance album?
well, if you
He
go
dropped something after
backwards,
the dance album.
you got the. No, he didn't. You got the 21
Oh wait, the
Savage
21
album,
Savage
which
album.
came out in the
The 21
fall.
Savage album.
You got yeah. What was that? You got that one, and then you got the dance album, and then prior to that, you got Certified Lover Boy, and before that was the mixtapes.
Yeah.
The mixtapes were just throwaways. It was just like shit on SoundCloud or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I think he probably dip off. I don't know. I think I I feel like he's gonna go into an African phase next. Probably. This is just a guess. I think he might go into an African phase just because he's been interacting with a lot of them online, especially the Amapiano. There's an Amapiano producer or DJ named Kelvin Momo. I sent you his project. That was really good. But what a lot of the Amapiano dudes are doing now is like they're producing songs for the Afrobeats artists or the Nigerian artists like Loj, Benson, Ashake, who I'm gonna get into in a second. And I think that like the sounds that come from, because house music is blowing up again, like the Jersey shit, the Philly shit, like the I Just Wanna Rock or whatever. And Amapiano is also house music. So hearing other artists like jump on it, like we have artists here jumping on that shit, like I think that's gonna probably make waves. And the DJs over there are way better. When you get a chance, look up Uncle Waffles. Look up Uncle Waffles, bro. It's a woman. It's a woman. Yeah, I was confused. Josh was like, yo, go check out, because we were talking about throwing an event possibly. And he was like, yo, maybe we get Uncle Waffles or some shit. And I went and looked her. I was like, oh, this is not who I thought Uncle Waffles was going to be. Not at all. But she's a vibe. For sure. But getting into the next song, the next two songs, two singles, Ashake dropped 230. It's and I keep saying he's on a DaBaby run, but DaBaby made the same song over and over again, and we was bopping to it for a year, bro. This is the same vibe that we've been getting from his last album and his couple singles that he's dropped, and I'm still fucking with it. It's short. It's less than 3 minutes. It's like 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that. But it's chill. I think it's just gonna be like not an interlude, but like one of those songs on the album that you kind of just like skip through. So
yeah,
there's that one, and then Joe Boy keep a single. I was thinking about this morning, bro. I feel like every time I log on to Spotify, I get another Joe Boy single in my feed or whatever. But he dropped Duffel Bag, and that's a vibe. Joe Boy is so good. Joe Boy is really, really good. And I'm excited. Hopefully he drops a project soon. His last project was 2021. So if we're going on what the industry goes on, he should be dropping this year. I don't know. He dropped a single it's like a month ago too. So like this is like the second single. So this could be a lead up. But yeah, I think we're about to get a lot of music, bro, pretty soon. I've said it before, J Hus is dropping this summer, and I'm hype. I'm wondering who's gonna get it. Somebody's gotta get a Drake feature soon, and I feel like if anybody's gonna get it, it might be J Hus. Back in 2019 or 2020, he came out for Drake's tour at O2, and I think it was at O2. It was a stadium out there, but he brought J Hus out, and they interact a lot online. And J5, his producer for the last couple projects, said that he got some shit on there. So I'm crossing my fingers. I probably won't happen, but who knows? J Hus is coming out this summer.
Fit well together on a song. Like I feel like they would sound good together, and I feel like even the type of rapping J Hus does, I feel like they could come up with something. Like even if they did like a 430 in Calabasas type of song, I feel like J Hus would be able to keep up as far as how good of a rapper he is.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't really care if he's on it. He can have no features on it, and I'm gonna go listen to it. But I think I'm waiting for the bigger artists to start doing more overseas collabs. Like you get a couple every now and then. I think Black is really good at that. Like Black has a lot of songs overseas with like Fireboy DML and Omale. He had a couple more too, but he's like really tapped in with the African scene out there. But even the UK scene, like I feel like Drake tapped in for a little bit. Like he did some stuff with Dave, he did some stuff with Heady One. I would have thought he'd done something with Stormzy by now, which is kind of nuts to me. But I think I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm trying to be excited about American music. It's very rare that we get some shit like Daniel Caesar. I was actually surprised about, and I'm glad we got something. But I feel like now it's like when I go through my release radar, it's very rare that I'm clicking on anything American.
Yeah, I feel like it's nothing is sticking out to me. I feel like I said that last week too. Like it's not like there's no like really big releases. Like even getting like Ray Shremmer, like a couple of years ago, if you hear Ray Shremmer is dropping an album, you're going to that album, you're running to that album. But that's not like
Yeah,
current relevant right now. I saw it and I was like, oh, Ray Shremmer, let me just listen to this. Let me see if it's good. Like I feel like there's not as much like nothing is really standing out. I feel like everybody's trying to do the same thing, especially rap wise. Like when I see like newer artists on Twitter or TikTok, I feel like they're all trying to make the same song. They're all trying to be Yeet. They're all trying to be Playboy Cardi. They're all trying to be Drake. Everybody's trying to be somebody else instead of just bringing something new. And I feel like that's why the international music is starting to blow up and like the dance music is starting to come back because it's a different sound. It's a change in vibe. But like there's nothing new under the sun. Like it was popular before, and I feel like everything comes back, kind of like fashion. Like everything comes back into fashion at some point.
yeah. I think I agree with all that. I think that honestly, there has to be like a new approach to things. And I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now, honestly, where shows are changing. I think we you've seen other people talk about like Joe Budden talking about shows, how they're getting different, and I started realizing this like trying to go to shows. Like I was supposed to go to LMA next week. The tickets were $60 when I checked initially. I'm like, I'll pay 60 for LMA, and now the cheapest ticket was like 110 or 120 in Orlando. It wasn't even a huge market, so I'm like, this is weird. Like I don't know why is LMA. I'm not gonna say if I'm. I don't know if I'm going yet, but is LMA worth $100? I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think it's worth $100. I feel like I could go see maybe like two good concerts for that 100. Like
But could you? I mean, it could you. Like what? Like who
at
could
the
you
more
go? And that's what I'm
expensive
saying now. Like
like probably not.
right,
Yeah.
right. Like the cheap. When I was gonna go see Future, like Future, G Herbo, Don Tolliver, and Mariah the Scientist all came, and I ended up doing something else that night. But that was the cheapest ticket. There was 80, and that was in the football arena, and it was at the very top. So like you get like it's 100 over 100, but I guess that one is like you get multiple artists. But I wonder how much of Don Toliver are you really getting? You're probably getting 10, 15 minutes.
Not that long. Not that long.
So
Honestly,
that yeah. So I was thinking about that, and then I was also thinking about I saw a video where an artist, it was like a music business panel on TikTok, and they were talking about how one guy was throwing shows in people's basements. He was throwing shows in people's basements, and people loved the shows. And then I was also thinking about how I went out in Miami with Ivy to this. It was like a lounge-ish type vibe. Like it was a restaurant, and it had a really big outdoor space, and it was just like bring your own wine. Like people was bringing their bottles, and then they had live music playing there, and it got me to thinking like there has to be like another way to do this. Like there has to be other ways to do this other than just like I show up at venue, artist comes on stage, artist sings 10 songs, and artist gets off. I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna be able to like justify a lot. Unless it's a festival like a Lollapalooza, I'm gonna pay more, or a Dreamville Fest, I'm gonna pay more. But like, bro, LMA in Orlando on a Wednesday, I'm dropping 100. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like artists could do some more like intimate shows. Like I feel like how the Russell does shows in his backyard. I think that makes it like more personal to the person. It really gets like your fans more like invested into you as an artist. So I feel like maybe something like that, like having like more personal venues or smaller venues, doing something like that.
Like, but okay. So I got two more things I want to talk about. I want you to wrap up with the artist that you've been listening to or the artist to look out for, but I want to get more into what I've been learning. I think bringing at least one thing that I've been learning. to the show every week. I think that'll sort of help me flesh out ideas for videos, and also like it'll give some insight to our audience who are also trying to put pictures together. So I've been diving a lot into grime recently, a lot more just UK stuff. Like I've been talking about Lovers Rock and grime and R&B over there for a while now, but getting into the beginnings of grime, and like once you start, I say this all the time, but once you start seeing the beginning of something, it's the end of something else, and it also is often similar to the beginning of something else. And I say that the beginning of grime is a lot like the beginning of hip hop, in that it stemmed from more upbeat genres of music. And I think the things that stood out to me about it were the fact that like how they had clashes over there is sort of like how you hear about rappers going to the park and just having ciphers and stuff like that. Like it's a very similar vibe. And I thought another interesting thing, which is the thing I wanted to bring to you, was that like when they started having clashes in events, the government over there proposed a bill. I think it was called Form 696. Yeah, it was called Form 696, and basically it required anybody throwing any type of live music event to detail who was throwing the event, who was performing at the event, who was going to be at the event, what type of music was going to be at the event. And when the form came out, it asked them to disclose the ethnicity of the type of people that were going to be at the event and the people performing the event. They was looking for niggas, bro. And and so eventually, like, this was 2008 when it came out. So like there was obviously backlash about it. They took that part off of the bill. But it was like, I was reading that, bro, and it reminded me a lot of the Uncle Luke freedom of speech case. You know about that? Like back in the 80s, 2 Live Crew and Uncle Luke, the dude in Miami, they were making like some foul shit. Like think about WAP, but like before WAP. Like it was like crazy. It was like the 80s. I'm gonna send you some of it. But they got sued, they got arrested, and then they were getting sued by the government. And they ended up going to the federal courts and appealing it because freedom of speech. And they ended up winning the case. Like that's a big reason, because they were trying to cancel hip hop, bro. They're like, bro, we can't be talking about this shit on the internet, or I mean out on the radios to our kids and stuff like that. And so they were trying to censor it on radio stations and not even let it get made. They were arresting record store owners like in Miami because they were selling this music. And the parallels I see between genres, forget what it sounds like. It's like the genres that black people end up like creating, a lot of them are looking for outlets to express themselves in areas where they're not allowed to express themselves. And you see the same type of pushback from a lot of people on these things. And I think it's just interesting, like once you look at other places, you realize how similar we are. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with this platform, just to wrap up, is like we're a lot more similar than we like to give each other credit for. And if you just do a little bit of looking it up on the internet, you start to see things that are like, oh, we went through that too. It was just called something else. Or we got pushed, we got the door closed on our face here. It was just a different place. You know what I mean? And I think like we all speak a lot of different languages, use different slang and stuff like that. But looking at that, our experience will allow us to sort of look past a lot of that stuff. Like it really doesn't matter.
I feel like
but that's my little history lesson for the day.
I feel like that it kind of reminded me of like how NWA had the government knocking at their door when they made "Fuck the Police," because of how like what they were saying and how they were like defaming the police departments. But yeah, I feel like we are a lot more similar than we'll give ourselves credit for. It's just like you don't know until you really get that information.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and even from a business perspective, I just look at like, we know that there's black people in other places and you can market to them, but when you really understand like how many black, like I think about how black-owned businesses have to sort of alter their message or their branding or how they release stuff in America because they feel like the group of people they're trying to sell it to, like they're trying to sell it to white people, to Hispanic people, to Asian people. And I mean, that's completely justified if you're in a brick and mortar and those are the people around you. Those are the people you need to sell to. But if you're online now, it's like you understand a couple cultural differences and you can start marketing that same product that benefited people like you here to people like you in Belgium. You know what I'm saying? And I think people understand that at a very basic level, but the more I get into the internet, the more I start to realize like people don't really take advantage of those things. Like even things as small as like YouTube doesn't have captions for a lot of African artists. Something even as small as that. It's like, imagine how many more people could listen to that if they could understand, like if you could translate that to English. They don't even try. They're just like they don't have any captions for it.
Yeah, I remember even with I think Bad Bunny was performing on TV and they put oh my God, what did they put on the TV? I think it said speaking in non-English. Like it was something crazy like that. Like how do you not have somebody that can translate that? How are you that tone deaf? Like I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, we just live in our little bubbles, but we say it every week, but it's gonna change, and people are gonna be forced to have to. Well, I guess not. I mean, depending on where you're at, like there's still a lot of very segregated and homogeneous parts of the world. Like, I went to go get pizza today at this place called Fleming Island. It's a city outside of Jacksonville, and bro, there was nobody that looked like me out there, and it just happens that there aren't a lot of people that look like us living in that area. That's just what it is. And that's not a big deal. But definitely certain parts of the world are definitely changing in terms of like, they've always been like, America's been the melting pot. But I feel like it's just happening more and more and more now because the dynamics of countries are changing. So I think it's interesting to definitely learn about. What artists should we be looking out for, Antonio?
Well, I would say the first one I would talk about is Saba. His most recent album, A Few Good Things, came out a few months ago. I was really messing with that. Had some good features on there. He really makes that chill, lo-fi type of rap, and he's really somebody I like. He's from Chicago, so I might have more of a personal grasp towards him, I guess. But another person is Coda the Friend. He's similar to Saba with that chill lo-fi rap. I really enjoy what he has to say content-wise. Like I feel like his music is really uplifting, and he really has a good message in what he's talking about. And I mean, his endeavors outside of music, kind of like Tyler the Creator, really intrigue me, and that makes me want to get into him more. And then Aaron Ray is an R&B artist. He only has 2 albums out, and his one that came out last year was really good. He had a feature with Blast on there, Ari Lennox, and Ty Dolla $ign. I personally really like traditional R&B, and he does a good job of mixing old and new sounds.
I'm gonna steal this. My boss says this all the time. Steal with pride. Leave a like and a comment. It goes a long way. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button. You can listen to us. You can listen to us anywhere there's podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube. We'll probably be in your TikTok feed. We'll probably be in your Instagram. I don't know. We're gonna be everywhere. We're gonna be everywhere pretty soon. So that's the second episode.